The early years of the war. New technology in the war. The use of new weapons forced commanders to reconsider their old war tactics and change the way of fighting. New weapons made the Civil War more deadly than any other previous war. Old frontal war tactics were no longer effective against these new weapons. Thousands of soldiers died in the beginning, charging frontally, being thus slaughtered by the new weapons. These weapons were more accurate and had longer range than all muskets and artillery. Commanders had to modify obsolete war strategies. They also used battleships covered with protective iron plates. The most famous battle in 1862 occurred when two battleships, the Union's Monitor and the Confederacy Merrimac, fought until they reached a tie. These battleships played a crucial role in the Union's efforts to gain control over the Mississippi River and accomplish the naval blockade. The War in the East. Lincoln placed McClellan in the command of the Union's army in the east of the country. He gained some victories but missed valuable opportunities. After Bull Run's surrender, President Lincoln placed General George McClellan in command of the army. He was a good organizer but very cautious. It took him more than 7 months to train an army. In March 1862, McClellan led an army of more than 100,000 men to seize Richmond. He noticed that Confederates had 50,000 men, but even then he did not attack and waited for more backup. This delay allowed the Confederates to strengthen their small army. On May 31, 1862, the Confederates forced McClellan to retreat from Richmond. Confederate General Lee decided to invade the North, hoping that a victory on Union soil would grant him Europe's aid. McClellan had a stroke of luck because an officer found a document with Lee's battle plans. He found out that the Confederate army would split in two. On the bloodiest day of the Civil War, McClellan's troops attacked Lee's at Antietam Creek on September 17, 1862. The Union suffered nearly 20,000 casualties, while Lee lost 14,000 men and was forced to retreat with a battered army back into Virginia. McClellan did not seize this advantage and allowed Lee to get away. The North claimed victory since Lee had retreated. The War in the West. By 1862, the Union forces had gained control over most of the Mississippi River. General Ulysses S. Grant led the Union Army in the West. In contrast to McClellan, Grant took chances. In 1862, Grant's forces made significant advances in Western territory and naval battles, seizing control over most of the Mississippi River. Grant captured Fort Henry and Fort Donelson, opening two waterways into Confederacy. Grant headed then to the Mississippi River, but was cut off by Albert Sidney Johnston and the Confederate Army. On April 6, 1862, he took Grant's troops by surprise at the Shiloh Church. The Battle of Shiloh was costly for both sides, because the Confederates lost nearly 11,000 soldiers and the Union approximately 13,000. Nevertheless, the Union forced Confederates to withdraw from a railroad center, gaining control over the territory of Tennessee and part of the Mississippi River. 2 weeks later, a fleet commanded by David Farragut entered the Mississippi River from the Gulf of Mexico. On April 26, Farragut captured New Orleans. By the summer, almost the entire Mississippi River was under control of the Union.